Okay, up next we have a fireside chat with Phil Libin, the CEO of Evernote. And it's great to have Phil back joining us at GMIC. He actually joined us in May in Beijing for our conference where he actually launched Evernote China. And so it's definitely great to have him back here with us. And actually, he was telling me, don't mind him if he dozes off, because he just flew in from Finland and he's feeling a little tired. But I think we have some great questions from Thomas Lowell, the founder and managing editor of Ping West and Ping East, an online tech media that focuses on the Silicon Valley-China connection. So I wanted to welcome to the stage Mr. Thomas Lowell and Phil Libin. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
So before we start, let's have a quick survey among our audiences. So how many of you guys once used Evernote? Just raise up your hand.
Wow, that's cool.
So how many of you guys had used Evernote last week? Cool. How many of you frequently use Evernote on multiple devices? 50%, right? Okay. Well, it seems the penetration in this room will be about 80%. If they can represent the people of all over the world, ideally you would have 4.8 billion users, right?
Ideally, although I got to say, so I just got back. I just got back from Europe. I was just in Finland, and it's actually pretty encouraging when I go to places like in Europe where we're actually not that well known. It makes me feel really good. It's a good feeling when you ask the same question in Finland and it's only 10% of the people raise your hand, because it shows that there's still big pockets of the world where we can grow. It would be, I would be very, very nervous if everywhere I went it was like this, it was 80%.
Yeah, that's interesting, yeah. So, and we know your goal, one of your goals is to achieve 1 billion users in the world and to impact 1 billion users, right?
Yes.
So now you have 40 million users, right?
Yeah, maybe 41, 42, something
41,
like that.
42.
Yeah.
So that means you just complete your goal by 4%.
About 4%, but which is actually lines up because the other goal we have is to build a 100-year startup.
Yeah.
And we started counting from when we launched Evernote, which was about 4
years
ago.
4 years, 4%.
Yeah, so about 4%.
So next year will be 50 million users.
Yeah, probably a bit more, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's quite really
so we have a progress bar.
Yeah.
It says, building 100-year company, and it's at 4% right now.
But the faster, the better, I think. Yeah, okay. So we will just have some quick recap on your latest updates, on Evernote's latest updates during the past couple of weeks, a couple of months. So, just on late of August at the Evernote Trunk Conference, you said you will launch the Evernote for Business. So how's it going now?
It's great. We said we'd launch it in December. So we're launching Evernote Business in December, just a few weeks left. And we're really optimistic. We've had more than 5,000 companies sign up for the early test.
5,000 companies? Yeah.
Yep, so far. And it's basically, we build it for us. Everything at Evernote we really build for ourselves.
Yeah.
And Evernote Business is no exception.
Yeah, you're the heavy users, firstly.
Yeah, we want to use it ourselves. We want it to be a great experience for us.
Cool.
And we're kind of the torture test because every Evernote employee already has a personal Evernote account, so we needed to make sure it works really great in that environment. And we're very happy with it. So we think it'll be a great experience for small and medium companies that kind of look like Evernote.
Yeah, small and medium companies. Okay, so just something really raises my curiosity is about you frequently repeated your Evernote's mission is to be people's extended brains that help people to memorize everything in your daily lives.
Yeah.
So when you just switch to the enterprise-based services, so what's the mission of your Evernote for Business? I truly believe you would just update something on your mission, right?
Well, it's really the same thing. So we really see Evernote as making you smarter. Our goal is we want you to use Evernote forever. We want you to use it for your whole life, and we want it to make you smarter. We want it to be an augmented intelligence for every important facet of your life. And for most of our users, work is a very important facet. So Evernote Business is really to let you use Evernote at work and have a great experience.
But still serve the individuals.
Yeah, our mission is always to stand with the end users.
Yeah, okay.
We think that, we think great products have a point of view. We think that great products tend not to be neutral. They have a very strong point of view, and it's a point of view that's really reflected. It's a direct reflection of the company and the culture that makes it. And our point of view is, since we build things for us, we stand with the end users. So we focus on the end user experience much more than we do on the experience for administrators, IT companies, enterprises. It's still end user software.
It's still end user software.
Right, even though you're using it at work.
You serve the end users just like you and me, just kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay, but still something different between the individual users and the enterprise users. It's about collaboration. Since the enterprises and employees require collaboration mostly.
Right.
So, just that probably, you always say that Evernote is some sort of the anti-social product. So it will be the opposition of your anti-social philosophy sometimes, but it's a very, very significant change, I think.
Yeah, we used to joke around when we got started that Evernote wasn't social. In fact, we were anti-social.
Yeah.
We would say, Evernote doesn't care about your friends.
Yeah.
It just cares about you. And this is an evolution of that. Evernote is still about getting something accomplished. So it's not social, and it's not becoming social in the sense that Evernote's not an expression platform. It's not where you go to talk about what you like and what you don't like and to express your views and opinions. It's not about that. There's plenty of great products to express yourself and to connect with your friends. Evernote's about accomplishing something. And many times, getting something done, getting something accomplished is solitary work, like you're just doing it yourself. But sometimes you work with a small number of people. You collaborate with your best friends or your coworkers. And so Evernote is moving to be great at individual and small team accomplishment. And Evernote Business is definitely a big part of that. So it's meant to be either one person or a small group of people getting something done. It's not meant for large groups of people, because large groups of people usually don't get much done. But small groups of people do. So that's what we focus on.
You have to get things accomplished.
Exactly.
Okay, I know that. So just about the, were you just by leveraging Evernote Business version to drive your revenue rapidly? I know you're quite satisfied with your current financial balance, so how's your prediction on this kind of the revenue things?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm satisfied, with anything. I think being satisfied is kind of a dangerous state of mind for an entrepreneur. I think I'm always not entirely happy with any given state of the business. I always want it to be better. But we do have a very comfortable business model, a very comfortable revenue model, and it's all about steady accumulation of value. And that's really what Evernote is always about. Even our user growth, like we don't try to grow very quickly. We don't use any of the methods that most companies use to add millions of users quickly. We never do any paid user acquisition. We don't do incented downloads. Like we don't do any of the things that companies do just to get many people with it. We would much rather have slower growth, but of much higher quality users that then translate into revenue. And so Evernote Business is really just an extension of that. We do expect it to contribute more to revenue. In the first couple of years, it won't contribute that much, maybe 10, 20%. I think maybe eventually Evernote Business could be 50% of our revenue or something, but that won't be for 5 or 6 years. What we really care more about is not the revenue, it's really we want to provide a great lifetime experience when you're at work and when you're not at work. And Evernote Business is there to give you a great Evernote experience when you're working.
And when you're working, and that's cool. So just about so you still, as you just mentioned, and you won't do any, for the enterprise business, you still won't do any paid users acquisition and marketing campaigns. You still want to pay, you still want to pay zero on the marketing campaigns, right?
Well, our goal isn't to not pay anything for marketing campaigns. Our goal is always to get the highest quality users, the best educated users. So we're always doing experiments to see, could we get really high quality users by paying for them? And so far we haven't. So whenever we pay for users, we wind up getting a lot of users, but they tend to be low quality. But we're not philosophically opposed to it. If we can come up with a good way that we can pay for users and they're high quality, then of course we pay for them. We have the money to do it, so it's not like a philosophical or religious objection that says you can't pay for users. It's really just a focus on quality. But Evernote Business, our whole sales strategy is just, it's using existing Evernote champions. So 75% of our current users today already use Evernote at work.
For work, yeah.
And so we just want all of those people to stand up and say, I already use Evernote at work, I'd like to make it official. And so all of the sales for the first few years are just going to be all of the big Evernote supporters that already exist in companies, bringing it officially into their companies.
Yeah, since you have a very qualified user base for Evernote business.
Exactly.
Okay. Just about how do you think about Box.net? Now it is Box.com. It's not, yeah. How do you think of Box.com and Google Docs, these kind of things, particularly on Box.com? You know, just Aaron Levy, a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco, he launched the box for the online file sharing, memorizing, and socializing features. So how do you think about that? It seems, and all of you are just entering the same market and doing the same things. You don't say you never care about competitors. Don't say that.
Well, it's not that we don't care. It's just that we don't spend time thinking about competitors. We do spend a lot of time thinking about partners. So when we look at our best partners, the companies that we do the most stuff with, that bring us the most users, it's Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. All of these companies have something that is partially competitive with Evernote, but they're also companies that we can just do great things with together. And the same is true with Dropbox, with Box, with others. So we're nerds, we're enthusiasts. We love to see good quality software. I want anyone who's making good quality stuff to succeed, and I'm always happy to talk to Aaron or to Drew or to anyone else to see things that we can build together that's much better, that's much greater than what we could do separately. Having said that, it's entirely possible that the companies in the future wind up going in a competitive path, and then that's good. It just means better software for everyone else.
For sure, good. So we would just talk about some more other kind of the products. So Evernote is not a single product itself. You have the Evernote food for memorizing your food. You have the Hello to memorize your social contacts, and have the sort of like the Clear, and these kind of things. A Peak to manage to train your memory, these kind of things. So it's sort of like it is a connective network. It's a connective network of Evernote's product portfolio.
Right.
Yeah, so I just want to know, and why you, or what can I say is how you decided to do, just first question about do those kind of the extended products achieve the same success as the Evernote itself?
Yeah. Well, we really do see Evernote as one product. We really see it as the Evernote is the service. That's what you have an account with. That's really the product.
Yeah.
And Evernote is the thing that we see as your external brain, your augmented intelligence. So the goal of all of Evernote is to make you smarter and more productive and more efficient in every aspect of your life. And then there's different apps that are sections of that. But they're just different apps because if we were to put every single feature into one app, it would be too complicated. It would be too big. It would have a very generic UI.
Yeah.
So there's things that we want to do for particular information-rich areas of your life that we think are better served by having a separate app.
Yeah.
So when you're remembering food, for example, we can do a much more beautiful, much simpler experience with Evernote Food. Than we could if we were just using it. Just say, just take a picture and just store it like a file anywhere else. So we still see it as the same product. We think it's all Evernote. It's Evernote as a way to be your augmented intelligence. But there's different parts of it in different apps to give you the most beautiful experience. And we have major new versions of all that stuff coming out. By the end of this year, we'll have new versions of all of the Evernote clients, of Food, of Hello, of just about everything else. So we're making big investments in all of them, and we see them being really successful. But then we have this broader range of API partner products. Through the Evernote trunk. So we have more than 17,000 third-party developers now. And many great ones are launching. And so there's many great products that have this component of the Evernote experience that have a component of making you smarter. So like, I think UC Web right here is just demonstrating a new browser. We announced the partnership with UC Web in May in China, and I think they're just about to release a new iPad browser that has a really beautiful Evernote integration. The winner of our DevCup competition a couple of months ago was a company called Everclip from Hong Kong. They built this really beautiful iPhone app.
I just saw the product,
So all of these, 17,000 of these developers creating hundreds of really high quality products that we also see as part of the Evernote promise of making you smarter.
Yeah, well, we'll talk later about Evernote's ecosystem. It's fairly interesting. But still one more question to follow is about let's talk about the very, very tricky case is Sketch. Sketch is your product, and you just acquired Sketch last August, right?
Yeah.
It's just but we see the Sketch is fairly different from other Evernote's apps. It's just so we see the hello food, and normally we see the UI and interface almost the same, and they just use the Evernote and the green the surfaces, these kind of things. But Sketch is fairly different.
Yeah.
It is just called Sketch. It's not Evernote blah blah blah. It's just a Sketch, and it is. The logo is different. It's very different. It's a pink. It is a pink heart, right?
Pink heart, yeah.
So how do you just make the Sketch so fairly different between from the other rest of the rest parts of your apps? So why is that?
Yeah. Well, Sketch is just a really strong brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a great brand when we bought it. People really love it. We really extended it. When we bought Sketch, it was two people. It was just two guys working on it. They only had a Mac client and. Maybe 100,000 users, and now there's over 10 million Sketch users in the past year.
Yeah, that's
on just about every platform. In fact, we're just about to release it on almost every platform, and we have maybe 30 people working on the product now. And Sketch is really meant to be our communication brand. So one way to think about it is if Evernote has kind of been an introverted brand. It's really kind of for you. Sketch really is our extroverted brand. It's how you communicate.
Extroverted brand, yeah.
Yeah. And so Sketch is about the goal of Sketch is to fix, the past 20 years of passive-aggressive communication, of people sending PowerPoint presentations to each other and long passive-aggressive emails. Like, Sketch is a really direct way to just point at something and say, I like this, I don't like that, please change this way. It's a way to point on things in the real world and on the internet.
Yeah.
But it's very much part of the core Evernote mission to make you smarter. Just like when we started out with Evernote, it was memory. We said, well, we're going to improve your memory. Well, then we started thinking, well, what other parts of my brain do I need help with to be smarter? And communication was a big one.
Yeah.
I need help communicating better. And so Sketch was our attempt to make a really, really simple, really elegant, direct visual communication as part of the Evernote family.
Yeah, I like this concept. And you said Sketch is your extroverted brand.
Yeah.
But so many other
And we did actually, it is now officially called Evernote Sketch. So we
Yeah,
did change it. And we just, the logo we kept. We changed it a little bit, but it's still the pink heart. I really like the pink heart. And we've heard some people complain about it. Sketch became really popular with like construction workers, with blue collar workers, because it's sort of ideal for like physical building things. Like if you're, we're building our new office building, and we use Sketch all the time. Like you take a picture of of something, and you say, put the fence right here, and you can draw on it. So it's really popular with like blue collar construction people, and. I thought, well, maybe they don't like the pink hearts, but yeah, I think they do. I think they just
they do that.
Maybe they don't admit it, but it is Evernote Sketch now, and so we are trying to bring the brands more consistently together. So that's obviously part of the same family, but we want Sketch to be more extroverted, more fun brand.
Okay, yeah. As you just talked, the extroverted brand. So just, a lot of third-party products are also your extroverted brands, right? So I just wanted to know, and how about the so were there any boundaries for Evernote to define what kind of the things, what kind of the products that the third parties can do and what they can do? Were there any brand boundaries for that? Apple and Google, they all have that. They all have their own boundaries.
Right.
But what's your boundaries for that?
Well, so Evernote is our fundamental position, our fundamental point of view is we always want to have our interest aligned with the end user. And so we don't want to do anything that lines up against the end user interest. We want direct applications, direct business models, things that make money when users are happy enough to actually, to pay money for them. We don't want to have anything that makes money through, unwanted data mining or analysis or selling your information or advertising or affiliate, traffic. We want to stay entirely away from things that users don't actually want, but sometimes put up with in order for the company to make money, and everything just in the interest of what do users actually want. So that's Evernote's point of view is we always stand with the side of the user, and we try to, as much as possible, we try to enforce and encourage that among all of the third-party applications. So when we pick, of course, anyone is free to write an application using the Evernote API, and we'll approve it unless it actually does something harmful or malicious. But when we exercise editorial control, like which ones do we promote, which ones do we put in the trunk, which ones do we talk about to all of our 42 million users, we really talk about the ones that have the same philosophy of they stand with the user.
Yeah, okay, I understand it. So just to talk about the international market. And first is Japan, the other is China. Japan is very interesting. And you have several million users in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just but so far
China is growing. China is now growing much faster than Japan.
Yeah, 2 million. I know that. Just Japan, just half of the revenue From Japan, right? Came from Japan?
Half of our, a little less, maybe 35% of our revenue.
35%, yeah. So, you know, do you think that Japan's success is sort of the accidental success that's far beyond your expectation, right?
I mean, a lot of Evernote is beyond my expectation, to be honest with you. Whenever you're successful, I think there's always a giant element of luck and good fortune in success. I think anyone who's been successful and says like, no, it was no fortune, it was just hard work, I don't think they know what they're talking about. I think there's always luck, there's always fortune.
There's always fortune.
And the trick is just, you know, recognizing when you're getting lucky and then working really hard to take advantage of it. And so things took off in Japan really quickly. But you know, and we got fortunate. We were fortunate that we saw the blip in the data and that we ran to Japan and started doing something. But then we hired, you know, we were lucky enough to get, you know, the world's best people in Japan to actually, you know, extend our product, to take care of the app, to reach out to bloggers and to marketing. So it was a lot of hard work to do it. But Japan has really caught off. It's doing great. It's about 20% of our users, more than 30% of our revenue.
Yeah.
And it's really been the model of which we did all of our other international operations. But now we're in, you know, we're in China, we're in Korea, we're in Zurich, we're all over the place. And we're seeing really fast growth in all of those areas.
Yeah, so how do you make the purpose the success in China?
Well, we're in China for the same reason as we're in every other country, which is we're not in China to sell stuff to Chinese people.
Yeah.
We don't look at the world as markets. We're not there to make a great local product. We're not hiring designers and engineers in China to make a product for the Chinese tastes, just like we don't do it for Japanese tastes or Korean tastes or Swiss tastes. We want to hire the best people in China to make a product so great that everyone in the world falls in love with it.
Everyone in the world can
Everyone
use
in the
that.
world can use the same product, the same great design, but that design needs to be influenced and built in all the top innovation centers of the world. So the people we get in Beijing, our partners and our employees in Beijing, and the ones in Tokyo and Seoul and Zurich and everywhere else.
All serve the global products.
Right, they're making the global product. And what we really learned, we learned this from Apple, basically. All the advice we got, all the conventional advice we got when we went into Japan, everyone told us, oh, you know, it's very difficult for an American company to see in Japan because Japanese tastes are totally different. And it's just not true.
Yeah, it's not true.
Everyone loves great products.
Yeah.
And then when we went to China, all of the conventional wisdom was, no, you have to make a special Chinese version. It has to be totally different. And
You never believe that.
it's just not true. I think if we try to make a Chinese version, we would never win.
Yeah.
But we just try to make a great version, but we try to do it in China. We try to take the best Chinese talent, make a version that's great for everyone in the world, and succeed everywhere. And so far, that's working out really well. So we're in China. We're investing in China so that Evernote can be better everywhere worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, it's time to end. Okay, thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Thanks for everyone. Okay. Thanks, Thomas.
All right. Thank you.